How's it going, everybody? My name is Mikey, and today we're going to be doing our 8.8 patch notes. So we're doing this every patch, regardless of whether I think it's a good or bad patch, and we're going to talk a little bit about it today. So there are some things that are pretty intricate in this patch that I am not exactly the most well-read on in terms of mid-lane changes, but we're going to jump right in and see what we got. So as we move towards the middle of season, they want to do it like MSI, the launch of Clash. They want to do big patch, small patch into medium patch and medium patch. So it looks like we're going to get a bunch of medium patches, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but yeah, so let's get right into it. So the first champion change is LeBlanc, and there are a ton of changes to LeBlanc. I read over this beforehand just to make sure that I didn't give you improper information, because I am not a LeBlanc expert for sure. And what it's basically looking like is they're reverting her to old LeBlanc, not the new LeBlanc that we got, I believe, in Season 5. It changed? No, Season 6. So basically, if you want to read this over yourself, I can give you a quick TLDR. Basically, what's going to happen is she's going to get a really strong level 2 spike. They're changing some of her AP ratios on her distortion, so changing some of the AP ratios basically everywhere. So what's going to happen now is you're going to get, I believe you're going to max W now, her distortion, and you're just going to get a lot of quick free trades. And then they also changed her mimic, as well as a bunch of the ratios and base damages of all her mimics on her ability. So yeah, I'm not a LeBlanc player, so I watched Scar's opinion on it, because I just wanted to know from a mid lane player what he thinks. And basically they're trying to change her to a little stronger. She should be a little more of a burst mage rather than what she is now, which is kind of a sustained, bursty, in-between hybrid. So I believe they're trying to make her have a little more pop to her. So I don't know. I haven't played against this yet. I don't know if it's permabanned. You can look up the op.gg to see if op.gg to see if it's too strong, but I don't think this is gonna be game breaking, because there's a lot of better mid laners, I think. But who knows? She might be overtuned with some of this. Like I said, I'm not a good LeBlanc expert. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. So now we can go on to Ahri. Ahri, I can be a little more opinionated on. So they took her passive, her movement speed passive, and put it on her Q. So if Ahri earns 2 spell hits against an enemy champion within a 1.5 second period, she gains 20% movement speed. And if Ahri earns 9 spell hits, max 3 per cast, she gains Essence Theft, causing her next Q cast that lands to restore health for each enemy hit. So I don't think this is going to be huge. It's going to be huge in team fights, for sure. Like late game team fights, if she hits 3 or 4 people with her Q, especially with a lot of AP, like her assassin build, I think this is going to be really good for her sustain in like close quarters, obviously, which she needs to be. But I think Ahri is still in a bad spot. Foxfire now prioritizes any enemy champion affected by charm. So this is huge for her burst. This means that all your Foxfires are going to completely hit. They up the delay a little bit, but they're all going to hit your target when you're fighting mid lane. So basically, if you hit the charm, you win. So obviously, if you hit the charm, you can Q Foxfire, or ult to them Foxfire, and that's obviously your combo. And now your W, this is quality of life, is just gonna mostly hit the enemy champion. So your burst potential in lane's huge. So don't get charmed. The base damage is going down slightly, and the damage ratio is going down. But when charm damages an enemy champion, her abilities deal 20% more. So they're basically just making her very rewarded for hitting her E. If she hits her E, she's allowed to get all this off. And then they're upping the damage on her Spirit Rush, lowering the base damage a little bit, upping the scaling, which is good for her. I don't know. I don't think she's in a good spot now, because she's kind of pushed out by better laners, better scalers, but I think she might be okay now. I think this is going to help her in team fights, this healing. And I think some of these changes are going to help her in lane secure those 1v1s and allow her to snowball and get to the threat that she can be. So now we're going down to Aurelia. Now we're starting to get to the champions I know a little more about. Aurelia felt super. I did this without any inclination of looking up her op.gg. When I played against her on release, she felt super weak early, super weak early. But if she got out of lane, she was super strong. So I was playing like Cho'Gath into her, and I was winning 1v1 trades, even a little bit behind. It was like so disgusting. So I'm glad they're buffing her armor, buffing the minion damage to minions, but the bug fix here no longer credits Aurelia for several minion kills with each cast. That's good. And then I like how they're knocking this down. I like how they're changing her R, because people were just using it for like a nuke. Yeah, they're really taking a lot off here in the late game. And then her wall damage is a lot lower. So they're taking a lot of damage away here. I don't know if this is going to be enough to help her out early, honestly, especially into like AP matchups. She's just really weak. You have to really abuse Aurelia early right now, so she can't get to the scary spot. She can be late game. Azir soldier damage, ooh, 40 to 25%. So he'll scale the same, but this absolutely guts his middle or early to mid game. Yikes. Yeah, this is going to hurt his wave clear. I don't know how this is going to affect competitive's want for him, because he's still Azir. But people that kind of play Azir really won't play him much anymore. The really good Azirs will, but yeah, that's a substantial nerf. Okay, I can get down with it. I don't see Azir a lot, but I know he can be disgusting in the mid lane if he knows what he's doing. Braum nerfs, armor growth down, which is, it's kind of substantial. And stand behind me. Less resistance, are now applied more responsively. I like this because I think you max W last as Braum. So this is really going to hurt him. He's going to be sitting on this 10 for a while. Yeah, I think you max your Q first, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this does hurt. I mean, this is a decent amount of resistances, which is good. I think Braum's a little silly. So knocking him down a little bit with his armor growth and his resistances, I think is good. I think it's all around healthy. Our cooldown increased. Yeah, I like pushing Galio out of the meta. It's just really disgusting. I don't know how I feel about tanks being able to just completely shut out mages in the mid lane, especially with how much wave clear he has. So they nerfed his wave clear on a couple patches ago, and then they nerfed his R. So I don't know where Galio is going to be. He might still be wanted and competitive, but I don't think we'll see him as much in solo queue. Graves. Okay, so they're buffing Graves. A lot more health growth, and his collateral damage cooldown is lower. So Graves can be really disgusting, and the jungle is where he's pretty much only played right now. Sometimes when he's really good, you see him top, but in this meta, I don't think that's the case. So yeah, I think Graves could compete as a jungler right now, potentially. I don't know. It brings him into a little more of a viable of a position, which is good. Janna nerfs, thank God. And it's not enough. So they're knocking down her movement speed by 5, and the Zephyr damage is going down, but I think that should go down more. And I know it's a double nerf because her movement speed affects her Zephyr. I think they can take more out of this. I listened to Beyond the Rift, and I heard Cutie, Skara, and Soaz talk about Janna, and I kind of agreed with them on the points they made, that they think Janna should be a little more abusable early and should still be allowed to do the silly things she does late. But I do think there should be something in the game that can counter shields a little better, and they're starting that with Aurelia, the Aurelia rework. But I think Janna's just so ridiculous in solo queue, and I think they need to make her a little easier to mess with early to mid game to make her a lot more balanced, because good Jannas will have to know how to get through the lane to scale to where they want to be. But that's just my opinion on it. Kaisa, I hope she's getting nerfs. She is. So they're killing her health regen growth stat by a lot. Wow. Killing her Q damage ratio. 6. Wow, yeah. So they're just toning her down, which is really good because Kaisa just gets really silly. Yeah, she's pretty much the highest priority ADC 8.7 at least. Lysandra, we're getting some... Oh, don't want that. Oops. Okay, so Lysandra, clicked on her champion right there, is getting some buffs. Her Ice Shard is going down 10 mana, which will help her because you spam that. Her Frozen Tomb cooldown is going down a little bit. I don't think this is enough to pull her back in. The problem is she just doesn't have what... Her passive is useless, and she's kind of just pulled down by the current meta. She doesn't really win against anybody, and it used to just be you would shove with her and then go roam and blow up other lanes. But now with everything being wave clear mid, I just don't think she's in that great of a spot. This might bring her back into contention, so if you play Lysandra, then great. But if you don't, I don't think it'll help. Nautilus, this is juicy. I used to play a ton of Nautilus top. Mana increased, attack damage increased, and Q cooldown decreased at earlier ranks. So they gave him 66 base mana, which is enough for like couple Riptides, one Riptide, but it will help his mana regen. Basic attack damage is going up. This will help him CS even though he has... Or this will help his trades just a little more. It's basically giving him how much worth of gold? 100 worth of 80, 100 gold worth, 150 gold worth. So this will be pretty good on him. His last hitting's already easy because of his passive. And Dredgeline, they're lowering that too, which you max last. You go E, W, depending on the matchup. If it's a really hard matchup, you can max W, and then you max Q last. So this will help. It's just basically 4 seconds that you're getting, which is really nice. So good, I like that. Rise, E-mana cost increased at early ranks. Now, there's a Rise rework, again, coming up on the PBE. So if you want to look into that, they're changing Rise around completely. I'm not the Rise expert. Don't ask me on that. So you can go look that up and see what they're proposing to do. But basically, they're just making his mana cost on his ego up, which is good. Kills his wave clear because he's ridiculous. Not at the elo I'm at in Platinum, but I know in really high elo, he can get really silly. Scion, I play a lot of Scion. Q damage ratio decreased at early ranks. Q base damage increased at early ranks. So, damage ratio. So they're taking off the scaling, but you're not building AD on Scion. The full charge damage is going down quite a bit, and the base damage is going up. Let me think about this. Yeah, so they are taking it down a peg, so the early game it's a little less ridiculous. But the base damage increase isn't half bad. I think it's a slight nerf, and even after the nerf, quote-unquote nerf with the bug fix earlier in the year, I think Scion is still in a very good spot just because of what he does well. E health restore decreased. This is good. W no longer grants Tahm Kench movement speed while moving towards enemy champions with a friend in his belly. This is all good stuff. The restored over time going down. So Tahm Kench right now, he was played top quite a bit on release. Horrible win rate top right now. He's a very situational support now, and I just don't... After these nerfs, I don't know how he'll do. I think he'll still be valued and competitive because he can save an 80 carry, but I don't know how he's going to be. Some people can play him really well in support, but I think it takes a lot of communication. I don't know if it's a great solo queue pick. Sometimes some people would argue that you can just scoop up your 80 carry if they're being dumb and spit them away, but I don't know. You have to be really well practiced on Tahm Kench to know the optimal play. Talia, good. She was in like the 4 huge mid laners in terms of how good they were doing. So base health decreased, Q cooldown increased at early ranks, kills her wave clear, makes her a little more vulnerable early. That 30 health does mean quite a bit. So that's good. Assassins, like they're saying, will punish her a little more. Varus nerfs. So they want to make his piercing arrow more viable, it looks like. So his living vengeance attack speed bonus is going down on kill. So they're taking away just some raw power out of him. On hit damage is going down on his W. Varus's next Q deals additional damage. It's an execute. Oh, wow. This is scary. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not the best on AD carry numbers, but I think this will. I'm hesitant to change the state of Varus right now. Obviously, with the Rage Blade nerfs, he was pushed back a little bit, but the new AP Varus build that you see like Cutie playing and some high elo guys playing is really disgusting, and I'm worried. This is just dealing missing HP, additional damage for missing HP by up to 50%. 15. I think this is going to be strong. I don't see this as a nerf. Huh. I don't know. We'll see how Varus goes from here. Vi, she's getting a nerf to her base armor, but her armor growth is going up, helps her scale. Her base health regen is going up, and her health regen growth is going up slightly. Her passive blast shield is going to come up more often. That's healthy for her. Her Q is going to be up more often, which is great. And her excessive force costs less mana. It's just buffs all around. Good quality of life. I don't think we'll see her in the top lane, as I was just reading here. Solo lanes, as well as in the jungle. I think this just buffs her in the jungle. Nobody's going to be playing her top, I don't believe. Anybody that's any rating worth talking about. Xayah, good. I like these nerfs. I love the Xayah and the Kai'Sa nerfs. These champions are just ridiculous after a few items. Yeah, so her health regen is down a little bit. That'll hurt her in lane, and then her pass-through damage goes down until, yeah, level 13. Solid. Good nerfs. I like that. Bug fixing on Rek'Sai. Swain, bug fixing. Let's talk about the items. So, Archangel's Staff, mana to ability power conversion decreased. Is spiking, so we're decreasing some of its ability scaling before it upgrades. 3% to 1% unchanged on Seraph's Embrace. So this item has been kind of a problem. Everyone that needs mana is building it immediately because it both offers you tankiness as well as a lot of damage and a mana pool and CDR. So it's kind of like the god of all items. So I'm glad they're tuning it down just by a couple percent. Unchanged on Seraph's Embrace though. So this just delays the power spike, which is what they're talking about here. They don't want Archangels to be strong. They want Seraphs to be strong, which is good. This will make mages in the early game a little less scary. All right, let's talk about runes. Lethal Tempo isn't doing well on most champions. It's true. So I don't think... Okay, so Lethal Tempo would be considered one of the best late game runes. The problem is in this meta, we're really focused on gaining advantages in the early to mid game. So even though it sounds juicy, it really just isn't worth it. So like, as you can see, at level 18, you get 110% attack speed. It's insane. Yeah, it's nuts. And even level 1, 40%. The problem is it takes too long to get Lethal Tempo going. So it just doesn't work. There's a lot of better options when people can take like Conqueror right now. Things like that. This just takes too long to proc. And its early game is not as good as other runes. So I don't think we're going to be seeing this except for the couple people that use it, which I'm not exactly sure who. Maybe Master Yi? But once again, Conqueror is so great on Master Yi. Dark Harvest bug fixes, okay. Trinkets. Removing Sleeping Lens and Oracle Alteration is now available at 1. So the decision-making surrounding trinket swaps is currently a bit more complicated than it needs to be. By making swaps more consistent and decreasing the number of potential swaps, we're hoping to make the gains from those swaps more clear. Okay, nice. I like this. Nice. So there's no more reset. This will be good. This is a buff to people who need to remove vision. This is good. Good stuff. And then home start. So now this is, I read this before, the home start changes. You're going to be able to go into the river without it leaving you. So it's like kind of awkward when people run full speed into the river at each other and then just turn around. So it was making it a little better to be defensive. Yeah, retain the moves and easily run away from any invaders who lost their movement speed bonus once they set foot in the river. A bit closer to your side of the map to make early aggression slightly more likely to succeed. So they want people to be fighting before the game starts. Good. Bug fixes, a bunch of bug fixes. Conqueror Varus is coming out. Some Rumble because they just buffed him. So Hextech Crafting, fix a bug where you're getting less gemstones now. Woohoo, I never got gemstones. So that's the patch. It's a pretty decent patch. I think it hit some pretty good notes, especially on Kaisa and Zaya and Rise, as well as hitting Janna. Even a little bit is fine. Braum, Azir, Aurelia, they're changing her around. Ari and LeBlanc, I guess we'll see what happens. I don't think much will come of it, but we'll see. So thanks, guys, for watching. Like I said, now with my business coming up here, there's going to be less videos, but I'm going to try to get them out. They might just be, I'm going to get the same amount of videos out, I'd imagine, just more sporadically. So maybe a few on a free day, things of that nature. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the patch in the comments section. Check out some of my other videos if you're new here, and I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.